something billion.
Governor?
May I? Okay.
Do you agree with that figure?
We have heard of that potential. I want to say that under my administration, the revenue, on-source revenue in Kajiado had steadily grew from a mere 250, 400 million to a billion. And therefore, while that potential is allegedly put across, it is important for me to say we are all determined to make sure that we tap into the potential we have. But Senator Elegwe, we have steadily grew from much smaller figures as we try to figure out what is this potential being said. So we want again to commit that we are determined to do whatever it takes to make sure that our own source revenue continue to grow. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, that question, if we could go to your answer, because the Auditor General has queried it under long outstanding revenue. I think it's a substantive issue in this report. So maybe we could look at what your formal response was.
Correct.
But Senator Maruma, you can.
Yeah, I just wanted to question the governor on the status of implementation of the downgrading of Amboseli. Because when I look at the revenue projections by CRA, they could be premised on revenues or projected revenues from Amboseli National Park if it becomes then game reserve. What is the actual status of that downgrading?
I think, Chair, downgrading is probably not the correct word to put. Here we are saying...
reclassification.
Yeah, what we are saying, Chair, is that historically until mid-70s, Amboseli, Mara and Samburu were all national reserves. Through a presidential decree, Amboseli was wrongly classified to be made a national park. What the people of Kajiado are petitioning or petitioned, and is being confirmed to be the correct position, is that Amboseli's status is a national reserve and not a national park. Mara, which is a national game reserve, continued to be the icon of our Kenyan tourism and a key revenue mover, so it will not downgrade. We are determined to make Amboseli what it should rightly be, a third-generation park. A third-generation park is something that considers community livelihoods, the game reserves, and the ecosystem itself. The current position of a national park protects wildlife with total disregards to the communities that are protecting or that are living side by side with this wildlife. So we're just saying it needs to be properly classified, but the status will not be a downgrade in any way.
Where are we? Where are we exactly?
Oh, where we are. In 2024, August, in Masai Mara, the president pronounced himself that this historical injustice need to be corrected. He set in motion through a national task force to look into that petition. The task force, citizen participation confirmed that Amboseli need to revert to a national game reserve. So there has been a lot of stakeholders involved, engagement, but citizen participation. It is now at the tail end. You probably saw, Honorable Senator, that Cabinet confirmed or passed that that status needs to be corrected. So we are now waiting for that Cabinet resolution to be implemented and Amboseli correctly positioned or classified. Thank you.
Which I think it's a position that we would support. I mean, I also have Ruma National Park in Homa Bay, which they have Savo, which I would be happy if it was to reclassify to revert to the county. Because you have said Masai Mara is run by the county, and yet it is still run very well. So someone should not argue that reclassifying it back to the county would be
downgrade. It's not, yeah.
Okay, so what?
So, Chair, maybe
but beyond that, you have revenue arrears of 11 billion, and I think that's one thing the Auditor General reported on. So, as Senator Cherargei asks his question, we will go to that issue, and you'll tell us what you're doing about it.
Chair, finally, Governor,
So how long are you still waiting for the handover of the national park? And I hope, have you agreed on both in case of liabilities, who will shoulder? Because we have seen cases where when there is transfer, the national government might want to transfer assets by liabilities. So have you agreed on the issue of liabilities so that you don't inherit something that might also become a problem or a burden to the running of the county? And how far is it? I thought that matter had been sorted. Was it between you and Narok that the handing over was supposed to be done? Thank you.
Governor?
Chair, with your permission, after the cabinet resolution that Amboseli should report to the county, and after the submission of the National Task Force on the transition of Amboseli from the national government to the county government, we have completed all the processes that were necessary to effect that transition. So we believe anytime now, Chair, that the gazettement of the transfer is going to happen. We in our meetings, we gave October as the outside of that type. So we believe in October that process will be complete, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. So let's look at your uncollected revenue, long outstanding revenue. OAG, what was your observation? And then we consider the governor's response.
Thank you, Chair. We did say that it's only 3 million that has been recovered so far. So we felt that is too
Actually,
low.
just read your finding. Get the governor's response.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, so we are transitioning.
Page 17.
Page
We are
7.
transitioning into the executive report.
Your certificate is good.
7.
Okay,
I
proceed.
read long outstanding revenue. As reported in the previous year, review of the debt and aging analysis provided for audit reflects revenue in arrears of Kenya shillings 11,984,425,260 owed by several debtors, which comprise of uncollected land rent, rates, and royalties. However, management did not explain measures put in place to collect this outstanding revenue. Further, the county government of Kajiado management, through the Department of Finance, Planning, and ICT, contracted a service provider to collect revenue on its behalf. However, no evidence was provided for the progress made in recovery of the outstanding debts by the contracted service provider. In the circumstances, absence of a clear, actionable plan for collection of revenue, collection of arrears, the collection of land rent, rates, and royalties arrears could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, what was your response?
Thank you, Chair. We wish to respond that the county government has implemented several measures to collect revenues in areas, and I wish to explain one, payment plans. We offered flexible payment plans to help debtors settle their own arrears over time without financial risk or strain. The legal action we have pursued through legal avenues to recover our debts, including the issuance of summons or court orders from non-compliance. And on collaboration and financial institutions, in partnering with the banks and financial institutions to facilitate easier payment options for residents. Strengthened enforcement, increasing the capacity of our revenue enforcement officers following up on outstanding payments. Annexed to this report, Chair, is court documents on the Tata Magadi Chemical, who owe the county government of Kajiado 10.5 billion. I wish, Chairman, to put that emphasis that out of the 11 billion in question, 10.5 billion is owed by Magadi Soda, and we are expecting any time a determination by the court. In the first round before the appeal, the county won the case in court, and therefore, Chairman, we want to confirm that that is really where the bulk of the issue is, and it's in public domain that the county and Magadi have that tussle in court. With regard to the regional business Collection Limited,
Maybe,
who...
Governor, since this is 87.5% of your debtors book,
Correct.
maybe you could just help us understand what is the issue.
Yes, it is, Chair. Magadi, Tata Chemicals Magadi, for a long time, was paying counties peanuts for what will be land rates. In fact, let me emphasize to say that this company has been in that space for over 100 years. And when we passed our revenue, what do you call this, Finance Act, to put Magadi soda into the same land rates like everybody else. You know, previously they will say per acre we pay 50 shillings. So when we say everybody else is paying 1,200 per acre, they went to court. In the first court ruling, the court ruled that the finance bill was validly passed and Magadi was to comply. Magadi, the High Court said we go to arbitration. We went to arbitration and Magadi Soda lost at arbitration. So they went to the Court of Appeal. So this is a company that is outrightly refusing to pay taxes or levies to counties, refusing to recognize the county, trying to get the same law, County Government Act with regards to levies and taxes. And so that is what the story is. And we believe...
It's not royalties, it's rates on land.
Rates on land rates.
Okay.
This is land rates.
So the 10.5 has accumulated over the years, or since the passage of that Finance Act?
Since the passage of that Finance Act. Because these people occupy a whole ward. They have land more than 400,000 acres. The whole ward belongs to them. Even the people who are living there just live at their mercy. It's a complete historical injustice as well.
What is the status of Tata Magadi Chemicals? It's a private,
it's a private company.
Limited,
it's a private mining company.
Private.
They mine Magadi or soda ash.
So if you look at two perspectives, does it increase the cost of doing business in Kajiado when there is a Finance Act that imposes high rates on land? There's that element, but then there's also the element of justice. How do you balance between the two?
To arrive at the land rates that we charge on every land owner in Kajiado, it is out of citizen participation, and we will not consider it as, excess. It is really what everybody is paying in Kajiado. But here is a company, a big money mover, that is refusing to comply with the law. And so it does not increase the cost of doing business. But I agree that is also a question of historical injustice, that one company occupies a whole ward. And in Kajiado, a ward is equivalent to some counties because it's so vast land. So the county even made the offer to tell these people, why don't you surrender the grazing land and you just occupy the lake where there is trona? Trona is the soda ash that they mine. And that conversation was carried with the Ministry of Mining, that really for them to have grazing land as part of their land is not right. But if you wanted to keep it, they should have paid for land rates for the same. So we believe that the courts are seized of the matter, and because it is in court, just like it has happened in the lower courts, the correct determination will be made.
So that we determine whether we are sub judice or not, what is before court for determination right now? Is it the amount or whether they should pay, so that we are careful also on what we deal with
in fact, I want to appeal to this committee and the Senate to intervene for the county, because it is an injustice for one landowner to displace everybody else. But what is before court is the question that the county say, we passed a law that everybody is complying with. You also need to comply as Magadi Soda. They floated the idea of saying we can surrender some land, but that has not happened yet. So as it is, they should just pay for the land rates for the land they occupy.
Senator Marumu?
Yeah, maybe, Chair, just for clarity, out of the 500,000 acres of land, how many acres are they using? Are they using the whole land, or there's some land that they're not using? Number two, you are saying that they refuse to pay the land rates from the time the new Finance Act came into being which charged 1,200. When did that Finance Act come into being? Because then, for 500,000, charging at 1,200 per year, that is 600 million. 600 million even for the time devolution has existed, say 15 years, that would be 9 billion. So did it mean that you passed that law? No, but if it was a county law, it must have been after 2013. So maybe 10 years, 6 billion. So when did they stop to pay? Because if 500,000 for 1,200 times 10, that is 6 billion.
Because we would like to take your appeal to find a way for the Senate to be seized of this matter and to push so that the people of Kajiado can get their money. But the numbers, maybe you can address the numbers as raised by Senator.
Yeah, the law that they went to contest was the County Finance Act of 2016. The way the land is in Magadi is that there is a mining area, Lake Magadi itself, where there is trona. Trona is the mineral that they, mine for soda ash. The lake itself occupies 8,000 acres, and that is considered as the mining area. But the place they occupy is in hundreds of thousands of acres. So that is where the community in Magadi wards lives. The community are also saying that this land should be community land, the land outside the mining area. But there is even an additional interesting twist to it. Research shows that Lake Magadi is able to carry 8 mining companies to do the mining in Lake Magadi. But these people are holding everybody at ransom to be a monopoly. So they are a monopoly. The lake has a higher potential. The grazing lands are under them, and they're refusing to pay for the land rates as per the county acts. So that is what is in court. So that is a contestation.
Senator Chirarge, and then we'll also get the advice of the senator from Kajiado.
I think, Article 96 gives us power to protect devolution. When you see a company owes 10 billion plus, as a committee, we must get to the root matter of this issue to really find out, because you can imagine 10 billion what can do for the people of Kajiado. Now, just, Governor, just a clarity, you have said that this company has a mining area that involves the lake and the rest of the land. So do you benefit from local content, as in where national, I think it was 60, 2010, or it's 70, 2010. Do you benefit from
the benefit sharing thing?
Benefit sharing.
Chair, I'm happy you assessed of the interest to look deeper into this. And I will recommend that you visit the county and you visit Magadi, so that you talk to the community, you talk to the company, you talk to the assembly, and talk to everybody. Everybody agrees that Magadi Soda is a rogue company. I have said the lake they occupy because they say they have a lease. And to the best of our knowledge, that lease expired in 2023. But they went to doctor some documents to show otherwise that they still have the lease. But they should also be
Governor,
forced.
let's be careful because they are not here. But we can provide another forum where they are present so that when you make the allegations,
yes,
they're also able to respond.
I agree with you, and I'm saying I'm happy that Senate says that one company is holding close to 11 billion of the county government. That is huge money for this country. On the issue of royalties, you will find in the accounts here that there was a time we were to receive some royalties, but that was not remitted. But that is a conversation that we will have with the Ministry of Mining, because they allege to have paid their royalties. So the issues here is there is a rogue investor refusing to pay taxes and occupying the land that they should surrender. So, and since they are in mining, they should not occupy the land that is supposed to be grazing land for the local community.
Chair, I sympathize because in Nandi County we have similar problem with Kareba Gold Mine, where these investors think that they are larger than life. And it is very unfortunate that you don't get benefit from the mining or what they are doing in Magadi. And the chair, even if this is a historical debt, they should have even honored the cost-benefit sharing that we normally pass. So I think, Chair, I think we were doing investigations into the mining when the cabinet minister has to appear.
Yeah.
We should add this issue of Kajiado when CS Joe appears so that we can know where is the problem. Even if they had historical debt, they should at least honor their royalties because the law is very clear. They are remitting 70 to the national government, 20 to county government, 10 to the local community. And that is what the Mining Act of 2015 is saying. Even the mining rules of 2015 is saying, so it is the law, which means there have been, and I agree with you now that that company is wrong. And we must ensure that any investor that invests in our counties, they must respect the counties and Kenyans and pay those royalties. So, Chair, I request that this matter be taken up on the issue that we were doing on mining in counties. I yield.
Because in other countries, we are used to allegations of the national government refusing to pay. Now here we have a private company. Because when you drive through Kitengela, there are all these universities with vast amounts of land. Do they pay that rate?
They do, and even individual citizens pay the same rates.
So there's no reason
because
why...
the way the rating is done is areas are rated according to the value of the land. So everybody is paying.
So it's only that.
Senator Kajiado?
Thank you, Chair. I think it is true that Magadi Soda has refused to pay the rates, land rates. And you know, as the governor has explained, Chair, other citizens are paying. So why Magadi? So that is something that we need to enforce as this committee because it's part of the issues that are reflecting in this report. And Chair would really request to have the National Treasury to be in that committee, in that sitting, because they have a number, quite a lot of money that they have held in terms of royalties. Not just, you know, there's two different rates here. There's land rates and loyalties. And for the purposes of loyalties, you know, we passed that county, in regards of my county, they're supposed to have received 600 million from loyalties from companies, Magadi Soda being part of it. So I think it is good that we also force National Treasury to forward this money to the counties or to counties because they have a problem. They have areas of money that has not been, which they have already received from these private institutions or private companies, and they have not submitted or even forwarded the money to the counties. But more importantly, Chair, the issue of land rates, that is where now the problem of 11 billion is coming from. So that is what we really want to enforce. Magadi Soda to be here and the Ministry of Mining to be here so that they tell us, a National Treasury, so that they tell us why are they so special that they don't pay land rates while a common mwananchi is paying land rates who has a plot
And the same rating.
and the same rating under the finance bill of the county government. So I think that is very important, Chair, for us to observe as this committee.
Senator Chiradge, the tea farms of Nandi, do they pay rates?
Chair, they used to pay until the governor decided to be mischievous. He decided to
looks
increase.
like I've opened up Pandora's box. I just wanted for comparison.
Let me. They were paying because it was 100 shillings per acre. The county decided through the finance bill to raise to 5,000 per acre, and that is when they went to court and they stopped. But they used to pay, and everybody pays. Even multinational tea estates are paying, and they are willing to pay. In fact, when they went to court and they won, they now reverted to the 100 shillings they were paying per acre.
But this Magadi is not paying at all, or they are paying the old rates?
No, they're not.
Chair.
At all.
They are not paying at all.
That is why even we have bed occupancy for hotels. It is part of that, I hope so.
Yeah, it is part of the contribution you make in taxation for where you operate. If you, Chair, for example, if you had a plot, you always pay annual rates. You know, so everybody is paying except Magadi Soda.
Senator Mono?
This is a serious
maybe,
matter.
Chair, what would be of interest to me, what is mined there at Magadi? Is it lime?
Soda ash.
Soda ash,
The
yeah.
mineral itself is called trona,
Yes.
but the outcome is soda ash, and this is what they use to make glass.
Okay.
But
so-
actually, they take the material to India. They do their thing, their processing in India.
In India.
This is a company that has its own railway. You know, they have a railway, they carry all those materials and take it outside the country. It's a big story.
How do you get to know the amount of money that you owe them that is supposed to be paid to you in terms of the 10%? Because for us, like in Taita
we are only asking
we used to have
for
iron ore. And they used to know to calculate how much iron ore is supposed to be paid for in terms of royalties. When it is being exported, then we'll know one ship is 58,000 tons. So we know the return and we'll measure the number of ships that have been used to export the iron ore. How do you measure, or how do you get to know how much is supposed to be paid? Do you have way bridges?
The people of Kajiado are not even asking a cent from the mineral from their land. We are simply just charging the space without even charging the minerals. If we go your way, these people will owe us trillions because they have been taking this mineral for years. You know, they came there in 1909 to date. So your question is valid, but that is even not where we are. We're only charging a rate per acre. So we are only looking at the land and say you have this number of acreage, this is how it is rated, just straight multiplication.
Maybe just for advice, I sit in the Lands, Environment and Natural Resources Committee. You can bring a petition, just a statement on royalties, which will deal with CS for mining and treasury at the Lands Committee, if you can bring it.
Yeah, it can be processed there. Even this committee, Suomoto, can pursue it because it's a significant fiduciary risk for one person to owe 10 billion. And that was as at that time. I'm sure it keeps growing. And if you went the royalty way, then it would appear that Kajiado could then be one of the few counties that can sustain itself from on-source revenue. Because if you took the park, you took the Magadi, and just ensured you closed all the leakages, you'd probably be above the 6 billion that
100%,
CRA is talking
probably
about.
That's what CRA is saying, 6 billion, which is more. But I agree with you that from those two natural resources, the county should ideally be able to collect substantial amount of revenues to support the development agenda. So I again, once more, bring to the attention of the Senate that this is a matter of national interest of rogue investors. Thank you.
Senator?
Yeah, I think, Chair, it is very important to note that even the loyalties, the county has no, they are not aware of how they calculate what's due for them to the 20% that they do. So it is the national government to discuss, agree with the company, and then they say, this financial year, we have paid national government this much, which is a total of this, which 20%, the county now will get it. So I think it is also important that the county comes in, because I'm very sure they are taking a lot of money out of the county, rather than even national. We depend on the national government to give us the figures. So I think it is true that the county will even get more money than what they are receiving here.
County Attorney, the governor says there's something before the courts. Can you tell us what exactly is before the courts, so that whatever is still before the court for determination, we don't venture into, because this is a matter that warrants an inquiry by the Senate?
Thank you, Chair. And I think for me, we have 4 matters that involve us and Magadi. One is a major issue of discussion. That is the matter which is a 2019 matter, petition number 1 of 2019. In that matter, Chair, the county won at the High Court. And that is the main matter. And the piece of legislation in discussion is the 2014 Finance Act. It's the first Finance Act that was done by the county government. The acreage is around 234,000, so times the value of each acre, and as per the Rating Act and the Finance Act, I think they owed the county 17 billion at that point. The court made a determination that you go for arbitration before the CS mining, because there is an issue of the lake, which falls under the Mining Act. they walked out of the proceedings in the arbitration and went to the Court of Appeal. We later, because of the court documents, revised the claim, removed the railway line, because the railway line has a different title deed. We also removed the lake because the map had the acreage. The remaining part, we subjected them into the Rating Act and came up with a figure of around 11 billion. So in that chair, the Court of Appeal is set to rule today on Magadi. It has been...
As we speak today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Today is 24th, right?
So what are the matters that we expect them to...
The matters that we are supposed... First of all, the High Court.
Yeah.
The High Court held that the Finance Act is legal in nature and that they should pay, minus the areas of the lake and all that. The other issue was the rates. They are payable to us. However, the arbitration part is what they didn't want the CS to deal with. So the court will actually rule out on this matter in finality. That is the first matter which we have with Magadi. The other matter we have filed is to recover this outstanding rates. We took another matter to court based on the next Finance Act, which was 2020 and 2023. Every time we go to court, they bring the issue of the Court of Appeal case to block us from recovering the rates. The other issue is on the title, the lease document, that we actually doubt how it was renewed, because it was renewed 10 years before expiry. So that is the issue.
Okay, so members, if we are expecting some decisions from the courts today, we don't need to get into details or give any recommendations or directives, except that this is a matter that is significant enough for the Senate to conduct an inquiry and will be informed by the decisions that will be coming from the courts. Fine, so I think we have very limited time remaining. Let's go back now to the issue of pending bills. What was your concern? There was
maybe sorry. I thought you should say we should cease of this matter of Magadi Suamoto.
Yes,
so
yes,
that you direct the secretariat
so.
to include in our ongoing investigation.
Yeah, because I think also, to be fair to Magadi, we have made statements here, including calling them rogue.
Yes.
It would be the rules of natural justice would demand that they also get an opportunity to be heard on the matter.
And I hope they will not work out the way they worked out in arbitration. I hope they will stay long enough.
Okay, so yes, County Attorney? Give him a mic.
And also, as the County Attorney is responding, do you have a Community Development Agreement Committee for Magadi? SIDAC?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last bit.
Do you have a Community Development Agreement Committee for Magadi with the county?
No, the CDA is not in place, so they are in total contravention of the Mining Act.
Okay, what did you want to say?
I wanted to mention that, one, just to be very clear on this issue that is before the Court of Appeal, they don't have stay, so there is no sub judice if the Senate will take it suo motu.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to pending bills. Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Non-disclosure of pending bills. Annex 2 to the financial statements reflects nil pending accounts payables. However, prior year disclosure under Annex 2 reflects a balance of Kenya shillings. Page 3. Page 3 of the report.
Yes, proceed. It's under other matter. Okay.
Non-disclosure of pending bills. Annex 2 to the financial statements reflects nil pending accounts payables. However, prior year disclosure under Annex 2 reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 1,197,584,070, resulting in non-disclosure of pending accounts payables. In addition, review of the report on the status of the county pending bills reveals that the county had pending bills totaling to Kenya shillings 2,290,313,208, which comprise of development and recurrent expenditure of Kenya shillings 1,531,450,134 and Kenya shillings 758,863,074 respectively. Management has not amended the financial statements to reflect the pending payables in the annexes. Failure to settle bills during the year to which they relate distorts the financial statements and adversely affects the budgetary provisions for the subsequent year as they form the first charge. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, we had a recommendation there which was fairly detailed, so we'll read it.
The management wished to mention that by the time of preparing the financial statements for the financial year 2023-2024, which was submitted to the auditor by 30th of September 2024, our pending bills report was still being analyzed and reviewed by pending bills committee. The pending bills report has since been finalized and submitted to the relevant authorities, including Controller of Budgets and Office of the Auditor General, and we have attached Annex 3 to that effect. The management has taken note that this non-disclosure and the same will be rectified subsequently by disclosing the financial statements as recommended by the Auditor General and as guided by the financial statements reporting template. What, Chair, we are saying here is that as at the time when the audits were going on, our audit committee had not completed their work. That is why we did not make the disclosure, but we have since made for the forthcoming audit that is ongoing in the county. I submit, Mr. Chairman.
Auditor General, is disclosure of pending bills a suggestion or it is a requirement?
Chair, it's a requirement.
Governor, what do you say to that? Because you treated it as if it was just a suggestion. You owe people money. In the financial statements, it is not clear how much you owe. That cannot be a financial statement that represents a true and fair picture of the entity when the debts are not disclosed.
Chair, I agree with you. However, I'm saying at the time of reporting, our pending bills committee was still doing their work. So that not to do or not to report incorrectly, we allowed them to do their work, and that has since happened. We have since, in the forthcoming accounts, made the full disclosure of the pending bills, Mr. Chairman.
Who's the accountant between the two people on your left and right?
The accountant is Majakusi.
Majakuzi?
Yes.
Disclosure of pending bills, is it a suggestion or it is an important requirement?
It is an important requirement.
So?
Well, Chair, as the Governor has said...
Even on the excuses, you are a ISPAC member.
Yes.
So what is your professional responsibility when it comes to reporting?
Full disclosure.
Was this full disclosure in the absence of accounts payable?
It wasn't, and the reason is any disclosure...
When you go to excuses, you agree it was not...
It wasn't, yes, I agree.
Remember, Governor, that this is not the only county you are dealing with. There are 46 other counties. None of them has ever brought that kind of excuse. Because even though there is a verification going on, you can take a view on what has been verified, or what is, we call them eligible. Yeah, what's the word that they've been using? Ineligible and eligible. What your accountants ought to have done as a minimum, because you cannot say that the entire year you didn't know who you owed money. Because in that year, you are contracting services, isn't it? So even for the ones contracted in that year, you didn't know, you could not disclose them. This is professional negligence. Before we get into the other associated criminal offenses as per the law. I mean, this is the first county that has told us that they could not disclose their pending bills. You are the first one. Your other 46 colleagues, even though they are going through verification, at least their finance people are able to present a listing of what is verifiable. And then again, Governor, this was your 7th year in office. Why would you have that kind of problem that after 7 years, your people cannot tell you with authority that these are the people we owe. What is the problem?
Chairman, I agree with you that there is a professional negligence on this, and there is administrative action that needs to be taken. And so I concur that it is a matter requiring administration action, which I will take. And so I want to confirm that in the previous years there were disclosures to that effect, and now we have made the changes to reflect that. But I wish to agree that it is unacceptable.
Part of our recommendation was a payment plan to be submitted to the control of budget. And I'm looking at the schedule you have provided. The first entry is a classroom at Sumeria Primary School, a contract of 2014-2015 of 1.49 million. What we are interested in is, what is your plan to settle those pending bills? Because your senator and the rest of us have already passed money to go to the county.